episode of Jazzy J Man coming at you live. Hey, we're going to talk about the state of Nebraska, which you know is a farming state. It's just one state of many that do farming. But I'm going to talk about this state because there's a lot of buzz, you know, on the internet and on the news about Nebraska. Nebraska population is about 2 million and some change. 4.8% of the state is Hispanic and black. The population of the state is about 2 million. Donald Trump won the state, if I'm not mistaken. I want to make sure, so I'm going to read it. 59.3%. So he won the state. There are not very many people in that state that look like me at all. But check this out. All these people that voted for Donald Trump, a lot of them voted because of immigration. So damn near all these farmers in America, right? Damn near all these farmers, right? Damn near all of them, 70% of their workforce is undocumented workers. Undocumented. The same people that they complain about, undocumented. 70% of their workforce. Because you see, white people, they run the farms. They ain't never going to get out there and pick no fruits and vegetables and all that kind of shit. They ain't doing that shit. They didn't do it during slavery. They ain't going to do it now. But see, when they voted for Trump, they didn't think that shit was going to affect them. But they fucked around, and guess what? They fucked around and they found out. So now, especially in Nebraska, they don't have no workforce. The damn undocumented workers, they left, they ain't coming to work. And you know damn well, ain't no damn white people coming to work on no fucking farm, to pick no vegetables, to do none of that hard work, dealing with cows or whatever the fuck they dealing with. They ain't doing that shit. But check this out, y'all. I'm going to let you see. I ain't even got to do a whole lot of talking. I'm going to just introduce you to some TikTok videos so you can see the truth for yourself. But before I go, I want to say this to those Nebraskans. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm expressing my condolences. Thanks for listening to another episode of Jazzy J Man coming at you live. Peace and love, and give someone a hug. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the videos that's coming up next. They speak the truth. You get to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Does anyone even care about Nebraska? Does anyone even care?
Do you care about Nebraska? Because I have a feeling you voted for this. I mean, Nebraskans don't even care about Nebraska. Let me ask you another question. Who exactly did you think were going to work in the fields and in the farms after all of the regular day laborers, you know, people of color, are no longer there anymore? Who did you think was going to do it? Did you think that there was just this army of white workers ready to get into those farms and pick all the vegetables? Now people like you who voted for this to happen are upset that something's affecting you, because what people like you tend to really vote for, it's not the economy. It's because you want to express racism and bigotry, and he was the only way that you could do that. But now it's affecting you. All those farms are disappearing, including that 300-year-old farm. And you want to know why nobody's upset at that? It's because you guys did it to yourself. You'd rather vote to have your racism easily spread across the United States instead of thinking about yourself, because you always vote against your own interest, don't you? And isn't it just like you? You voted to hurt other people, but now when it's starting to hurt you, you want us to feel sympathetic for you. Get the fuck out of here.
Rural America, specifically farmers, voted for Donald Trump. And now my question is how's that working out for you? We're getting some disturbing news coming out of Nebraska, a farming state, an agricultural state. They're having all kinds of problems. Donald Trump announced these deportations, and Nebraska counts on a lot of immigrants to harvest their crops. Well, we're hearing that like 70% of those immigrants just got up and got the fuck out of Dodge and went someplace else because they're fearful about being deported. Now, when all those immigrants left the state, that put Nebraska in a bad situation. You got crops, but you can't harvest them. There isn't enough people to do the job. And now there's talk that Nebraska could be on the verge of bankruptcy in as short a time as 6 months. Legitimately, the entire state could be bankrupt. Now, what does Donald Trump do to help them? Oh, he doesn't do fuck all to help them. He just does more to bury them. He's now putting on these tariffs with Canada and Mexico and China. We remember what the first tariffs did in the first term when they put tariffs on China. It buried farmers. So over and above the staffing problem, the deportation problem, now he's going to put a hindrance on all crops being sent overseas. People will not buy these crops or buy less of these crops, and that will further bury these farmers in Nebraska. The important thing to understand is it's not just Nebraska. It's other farming states. It's other red states that count on a lot of things that now Donald Trump has pulled the rug out from underneath them. These are going to be hard times for red states, Nebraska particularly, but not just them. This is what you voted for. This is what you got. Now, I'm not going to jump around and do a jig because red states are getting fucked over, because I know it will trickle down, and it will trickle down to the cost that we pay for food. But come on, red states, Republican voters, wake the fuck up.
Nebraska's in big trouble, right? They're talking about maybe going bankrupt because they don't have enough workers on all of those ranches. I'll bet you now that all of those elitists that own those ranches with thousands and thousands of acres of land, I'll bet you now they wish that they had not been exploiting migrant workers and paying them extremely cheap wages as a business model for decades, because the people around there could use the work. Now, have you ever seen the videos of this traveling cowboy and his wife where they're going around trying to find jobs at different ranches, and all of the stories that she likes to tell how the ranch owners and the foremen treat people? You can't hardly get an American to work on those ranches because they treat them like slaves and they pay them even worse, right? Let's just break it all the way down. So now the American economy will start to do better, because if these ranches want to stay in business, they're going to have to pay people a living wage. They're going to have to change their business models a little bit. And instead of getting record profits for the grocery stores and their beef industry, maybe they'll start paying the workers. Hey, how groovy would that be if we had cowboys returning to the Midwest that could actually afford brand new trucks and cars again? Yeah, because they can't working for these ranchers. No, it's all they can do to afford the meals that they force the cowboy's wife to make, and then they only charge $1.50, and the cowboy's old lady that's cooking all these meals is going broke trying to feed everybody, right? Yeah. Hey, peace and love, America. I'm out.
Does anybody care about Nebraska? That's the question that's going around TikTok right now, and to that, I respond with two questions. Did Nebraska care about anybody else? And does Nebraska care about Nebraska? Because, you see, God helps those who help themselves, and when you Nebraskans walked into the voting booth and overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump to be president, and now you're feeling the effects of that, this isn't I told you so. This is an FAFO. And I know there are Nebraskans out there that voted for Kamala Harris and did not fall into the trap of Donald Trump. Unfortunately, there were not enough of you. And now the rumors, and I'm having a hard time substantiating some of this, but the vibe that's going around is that Nebraska basically looks to be bankrupt in about 6 months because of the undocumented migrants that are being deported, or just the fact that undocumented migrants make up a large portion of their state and workforce on the farms. And they're not showing up to work because they're now afraid they're going to be deported. So Nebraskans, especially farmers in Nebraska, did you think any further than the front of your face? Did you think any further? Or were you just blinded by hate? And now people are coming out here asking, what about Nebraska? Do you guys care about Nebraska? No, I've already answered it, but the short answer is no. No, we don't. We don't care about Indiana, where I'm from. We don't care about Kentucky losing their bourbon up in Canada. We don't care about Jack Daniels in Tennessee. We don't care about the auto industry in Michigan. Are we all going to feel this? Yes, it's going to hurt. The disruptions in the food supply from Nebraskan farmers is going to hurt everybody. We are not immune, but we can't care. We can't care. We have no more sympathy to give. You guys had a chance. We spent our time telling you, talking to you, talking at you because you wouldn't listen. You decided to vote for Donald Trump, and here he is undoing your entire workforce. And when you lose your family farm of 150 years to a private company who's going to buy up all the land when you guys can't pay your bills, that's the state of America we're going to be in because you decided to vote for hate over the rest of the country and your own good. You cut off your nose to spite your face. So Nebraska, we don't care. God helps those who help themselves, and you decided you didn't want help.
Nebraska, and all the other farming states that this applies to. You see, I think that President Musk and his administration, they do really care about you. But the timeline's a little off. You see, they thought that by getting rid of affirmative action, DEI, which we are not the #1 recipients, baby. Truth be told, black people, no. And they get rid of the illegal immigrants, that there are the black people. Because remember, Trump said black jobs. And they don't think that black people should hold anything more than being a house ninja or a field ninja. Somebody mammy. And they think that we could right on into them roles, but they didn't think that it would hurt you so bad before all that has occurred. There's hope for you yet. If they get enough house ninjas, y'all may get some help. Ooh, FAFO.